All right. So I work with primarily Gen Pop folks, and I'm in a barbell gym that is what we cater to, is teaching people how to do the barbell lifts, primarily squat, bench, deadlift, overhead press. Occasionally some people are interested in like the Olympic lifts, but as you've probably seen from my videos, it's very new to me, so not my forte, but we're learning it. But most of the people I work with are like 40 and older, mostly dudes, but I have some ladies that I coach, and we get the initial intake is this is for health. Maybe they're someone in their family, like their dad or their grandpa, had like a cardiac episode when they were in their 50s or 60s, and they don't want to have that happen to them, so they're trying to get healthier. They know strength training's good, and then we're training for a while, and everybody tends to get a little bit obsessive about the numbers, so we have to have a conversation about, hey, what are your goals? Maybe we don't need to push the numbers so much. And I heard a Peter Attia quote that I've used on these guys to kind of help shift them so I can get them to do more cardio and not be so focused on just hitting like numbers and on the lifts. And it's like something along the lines of performance does not equate to like health and longevity at a certain point, or something along those lines. And as I'm just like expanding my knowledge and learning more about like strength conditioning for sport, it's just something I'm currently more interested in, because I would like to work with more like youth athletes. I was listening to Will Rattel talk about this idea about, he was talking about it in a strength conditioning realm, where like strength conditioning is just fitness, and it's just a big circle, and the way that you apply all of the principles just depends on what the sport is. So if you're working with general population, it's still fitness, which fitness is strength conditioning, so it's the same thing. And where that performance versus like health and longevity kind of split happens is, in his words, and I agree, is when you're sacrificing kind of the other parts of fitness for one specific thing. So if you're powerlifting and you're not doing any cardio, and all you're doing is trying to push the main lifts up, you're gaining a lot of excess body weight, which may or may not help you in your lifts. Yes, mass moves mass, but this is a different conversation. Or again, like on the other side of things, like bodybuilding, you're trying to accumulate as much muscle mass as possible for a certain physique, but then the dieting part where is unhealthy to be that lean. Obviously, you're doing it for a short period of time, but it's not healthy. So if you're a general population person, like, you don't have to, I don't think you have to forego working hard towards kind of external goals of strength and conditioning, whether it's trying to be better in a 5K, trying to be a power lifter, like recreationally. I think those are great goals because it gives you something like positive and fun to work towards. So you will probably train a little bit harder. You're going to be more interested in your training. And the more interested and the more fun you're having in the gym, the more likely you are to continue to train year over year over year. And I think we know, like, that's the most important thing as someone like in this realm. If we can just get people going to the gym frequently and consistently, your programming doesn't have to be perfect. You don't even have to have a good workout every single time you go in the gym, but I think having those external goals are really important. And I've kind of changed my idea recently now away from that, well, strength or, you know, having a performance is not necessarily tied with longevity. I think that it is, if you think about it from a little bit broader perspective, again, with the caveat that you're not sacrificing the other things within fitness, strength and conditioning, for one thing. There might be slight trade-offs at times. You're going to be pushing a little bit more into like a gaining phase, so you're going to gain a little bit of weight, but like, you know, you're going to do that, and then you have another phase of your training that you're going to be maintaining, or you're going to have a cut, or whatever it is. So yeah, I really like that idea of like strength conditioning, fitness as a circle, and not giving up the other metrics just for one other one out. Anyways, just my thoughts for today.